I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Friendly reminder to sign in at the podium. Also, cell phones should be silenced in the council chambers, and if you need to partake in a side conversation, we do ask that you step outside of council chambers. All right. So Mayor Dan is here, but by Zoom tonight, so I will be running the meeting. First up is our consent agenda.
Are you gonna run both of them together or separately on consent agenda?
We just have like one motion.
Okay, I have a question on the electricity for the lagoons was like $2,441. Is that correct? Okay, what is so expensive to run out there?
They've got grinder pumps, they've got.
Okay,
They have a grinder pump and they, I could use a little help on this. They have grinder pump, they also have, a clarifier. They also have, they also have 3 pumps or.
okay. I just saw,
There's a lot of different machines.
I saw that amount. I just want to make sure that was correct. That's a pretty good size electric bill. I just want to make sure that we were in compliance with everything. The lagoons was like $2,400 something. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to check that out.
So we got 3 area pumps
Yes.
Okay.
that, and they run all the tubes that keep it. The DO up so that we can treat the water.
Okay. For the most part, it's accounted for, so that's just what I wanted to check on. Okay.
Is that
Thank you, Dave.
Is that pretty average? The monthly average roughly about 2,000?
It depends on, what the.
The roughly.
There's no such thing as average.
I mean,
Yeah.
like during the winter, we don't run the auger. So during the winter, we're running auger, which brings out a lot more debris. So that's part of your extra money that we use compared to during winter, because we don't use that. And we use the regular stream type deal, which we're hoping to go with the auger, get a building so we can run the auger all the time, because then all the debris goes into the ponds and makes it harder for us to treat that.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
What he said.
What he said.
You been seeing him?
I didn't know.
Mr. Council President, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Which does the council minutes of June 2024, June 24, 2024 minutes and the agenda item AR 24-24-123.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Darcy, seconded by Tyler to approve the consent agenda items, including the June 24th, 2024 meeting minutes and agenda item report 24-123. All those in favor say yay. Aye.
Aye.
All those in favor say nay. Motion passed. I'm gonna say my gavel after we do that. Yes. Okay, next up is petition and delegations. This is for any comments. Reminder, you have 5 minutes to talk about business related to the city of Ellsworth.
Your first one. Actually, and I would appreciate that you guys all have your microphone.
Yeah, tell us who you are, Mary.
This is something I know. I
Mine's
couldn't-
broken.
Oh, yours, I'm sorry. Where's me fixing there? I know this has been addressed before. I want to bring up again, because it really bears bringing it up. And that is, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Forest Drive. It's a very scenic street. It's a long way street in town. We live on it. Right across the street is a normal sized street, and that's Fourth Street. It's also a tourist street. You didn't know that. It's just bachelor street and that's it. The problem is, if you look at this, the person who lives at 603 Washington parks a large truck and trailer that has some kind of race car or something inside of it. And it presents a hazard because he moves it very few times throughout the summer. We have yet to know it having been moved yet this summer. But again, we've also I've been at KMIT, I've been at Wesley, so I haven't been around as much, so I don't know. I was sick. But still, the area in red, he takes up all of that space almost to the curve of the curbing. And then there's a vehicle parked in front. You will see where I wrote driveway. There's a driveway there, and I know one time when I turned left off Forest Drive onto Washington Street, I had a lady almost back right into me from that driveway because I also had vehicles parked right up even with her driveway. When there are other vehicles across the street, it does present a problem. Not getting through because EMS can get through, which is great. I'm thinking probably the trash truck can get through, but that's not the issue either because they get through, so they're non-issues. What I'm wondering is why not use the yellow area on 4th Street? That street has
It's
the
actually
least
Fifth.
traffic.
Be Fifth Street, not Fifth.
Do I have it labeled wrong?
Yeah, it's Fifth Street.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It'd be Fifth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For clarifying that. If they would do that, that's also their entire yard encompasses that whole area. Okay, they have 2 driveways on that side, plus another area on the property for parking. They have the entire 5th Street area. Across the street from them is another house. They're on the corner of Washington and 5th Street. And they have a driveway that they pull into, so they use their driveway. So nobody is parked on 5th Street. I have never seen anybody park on 5th Street. So going back to everything, I know that my husband and I are not alone on this, and my husband is with this. He was very happy that I was going to bring this up tonight. I believe it was Steve Bahan. I brought it up in the past, possibly. You guys didn't want to do an ordinance or something at that time. But when school is in session, it really gets bad. And because of where we are on Forest Drive, going up from us, we have the alley. And then we have artists, and then we have the corner, and we see things. And it's sad sometimes because there's also a hill included with all of that. And the kids don't know how to drive very slow. They're not very, it's dangerous. And it's because the truck and the trailer is preventing the clear line of sight. Like I said, I know that, you know, the ambulance can get through, and probably the trash truck can get through, vehicles get through. None of that is the problem. The problem is what can happen in the future, because one of these days I might not see something, I might get hit, or I might hit somebody. Be that a vehicle or person, an adult, or even a child. That can happen.
All right, your 5
That's
minutes
the
is up. I remember, yeah, do we want more time for Mary to discuss, or do we have our own comments?
I just wanted to make a comment. It's not the first time someone's brought that trailer up. And we're currently working, I'm working with the chief of police and Patrick to create plans for that, because it's already been pointed out and I was just pulling up in. I've already got guidance.
I was thinking that there was already an ordinance, because don't we have this discussion a few years ago with Michael Hunt?
Hooked to the trailer. It'd be different if it wasn't hooked. I think it's the issue that we're.
With Michael, it would be different because it wasn't.
Right.
I think somebody else last year brought this up though too, didn't they?
Yeah, but that's what we found out is if the trailer's hooked to the truck, then it's within the ordinance. If it would be unhooked, then it would violate the current ordinance.
That's
So
correct.
that's why Dustin's working on a different ordinance. To
Yes.
assess that.
That would be awesome, because then he could be then parking in the yellow where nobody hardly ever uses that street. And he has that whole area to his house. I think that's a whole area. That would be awesome and great. Thank you. That's all I can say.
Thanks for bringing that up, Aaron.
Safety above everything.
Anyone else? Aaron? Mike? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, well, let's move on to unfinished business. Request for extension of 215 West Third Street demo. Justin, is this you?
Yep. I had a request recently, from Mr. Arnold, if you want to come. Sure. Mr. Arnold has been, working on the 8th Street property as well as, to tear it down, but during the process of the 6 months of beginning, we got it. So he's here to request an extension in your packet. I did update it today, but in the latest version of the packet, there is a copy of an amendment, which I did have Patrick look over. He's just requesting an extension, and I extended it to December 1st,
When,
to December 31st.
Well, I had a knee replacement. And that kind of slowed me down a bit. Then I had some issues with it. I had an infection and all kinds of stuff. So that happened. The injury happened back in like February, and the surgery was the end of March. So just been kind of a slow getting around. But I'm doing much better now, and I've got a young man that's helping me, and a college student. And, so I think it should, is feasible that I can get it done.
do you need a motion to approve your extension?
Yes, because I've got an amendment agreement in there.
Okay.
How much time do you think you need? I know you have what Dustin's given you, but
I'm thinking maybe 4 months tops, because we're taking it down ourselves. I checked into the folks that actually do the tear down, but it was like $6,500.
Yeah, so
And I thought, yikes, I don't even know if I could sell a lot for that, so. Well, if I could tear it down myself, that would be, and either sell it or build on it. I could make it more feasible.
Do you want one?
no. I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either. I'll make a motion that we extend the demolition of property at 215 West Third Street. As per se, our city administrator give the date of December 31st.
Yes, and what do I have your permission to sign on your behalf?
Yes.
This contract.
Yes.
And I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Dawn, seconded by Aaron to extend Ken and Terry Arnold's demo of 215 West Third Street, and for Dustin to sign this amendment to December 31st, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Thank you very much.
You bet, Ken.
Thank you.
Glad you're up and running again on it.
Yep.
Yes.
That is good.
All right, next up, new business, discussion, decision regarding Article G for the personnel policies and procedures.
Thank you. This is something, I'm trying to close this out because I continue to have disputes in the old one. And It's not, we're working through it, but Article G is something that something that I really wanted to knock out of the park. One of the big things that I have noticed is just the trying to equip our staff. I have a philosophical difference, with the way the old one was worded. I don't view it PPE's French benefit. I view it as our job to equip our staff with what they need. But water crew has been hit or miss. And what this does is in an effort to control costs and an effort to make sure our staff is properly equipped. I feel that every department should have just a set uniform that they should have. And then we will keep inventories up moving forward. Because what's happened is because we don't have a centralized system, or at least a system, a universal system of which department has what, we have a lot of people ordering stuff when they need it. And there's not a lot of tabs on this. So having a set list like this, one, it does a couple of things. When they come to work for us, what I'm intending is the first day they come to work, when it's feasible, of course, they should have all their equipment ready to go. Now, as some departments have pointed out, my vision will work with things like the police departments, so that'll take a lot done in that. For the most part, I want them to have most of their stuff in place, and it'll be inventory, it'll be ready to go. And after talking to a lot of you, I've also added a clause in there that if they're not here, if they leave within a year, I'll remove the cost of what we gave them. But I'm just really my whole goal in this process has been, because we've had a lot more disputes over the old one and a lot of people taking advantage of the old one. And I've been really working to try to redefine our personnel manual, but I've also done it with the staff so that there's a lot of feedback. They've corrected a lot of things that I originally had written in here, so that way I have buy-in from the staff when I implement it. So this is just the latest in that, but one of my hallmarks here is getting the PPE policy up and running. So that way each department has their set of what we expect them to have, and some cost control, and that'll create some cost control within the city. And a lot more centralized oversight as a result of this policy. It's just closing loopholes that I've run into since being here. So in long term, this will help us control the costs. While also removing or reducing. Luckily we haven't had a lot of incidents, but it drives me nuts when I drive to a work site and I see someone in the cold weather getting in the water without me here. I've witnessed it multiple times. I'm just trying to close those loopholes. While also helping, like we've had discussions in the past, police departments reported to us that they're in Rivers Webs, so it's also in their intent to meet them in the middle. It's gonna cost the costs up front will be initial when we purchase this equipment, but on the backside, with what we save in terms of enforcement, with what we save in terms of making sure they're wearing the equipment we buy for them, I expect supervisors and staff to, or when we get them, depending on the situation. And it'll also save in workman's comp, long-term employment injuries, that sort of thing, by equipment and time away from work, etc. And it just standardizes everything, which also saves money in terms of long-term operations. Because there's been a couple of times with for example, the time off policy has been our most recent discussion. There's a clause in there that says double pay when coinciding with holiday pay. And because it's poorly written, the interpretation has been over the last couple of years that's triple the pay for the day of the holiday. That's how it's been paid out. And so Friday, that's also an upcoming change, but that's why these updates are important, is to close those loopholes. Kind of like our discussion regarding vacation pay and a lot of the other discussions we've had. So this is my latest attempt to try to close that gap for you. And hopefully define it better for the staff, because the staff also gets frustrated that this stuff is clearly defined.
Yeah, well, you're gonna hate me because I took some time to print it out and I think I have questions on every single page,
Sure.
maybe more than one.
Sure.
Okay, so mostly I compared it to like the handbook that you had given me that was revised 2022.
Yes,
So like, I know before, like this whole G1 wasn't spelled out, so I guess I'm curious, like. Why was spelled this out? Why is that not just like maybe a handout that you get when you first, like, when you're a new hire? I'd like to believe that most people probably understand ASDI, but if you're new to the workforce, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
Then at the end, like, well, the impact and significance of the conclusion, I guess in my mind, I don't really, you're not writing a paper, I don't understand why we need that for a policy and procedures manual.
okay,
Okay, and then G2, retirement papers and KPNF benefits.
Yep.
So it says, all full-time and part-time personnel are eligible for membership. What is eligible? What does that mean? Like, because in the old one, it said that they had to work at least 1,000 hours per year. And then they became members following completion of 1 year of service to the city.
which is my understanding has been changed. They're eligible to be by SB members, and by then they come to full time.
Okay,
The way it was
so
explained to me.
kind of date of hire, they're eligible.
Yes,
Okay, I feel like maybe that needs to be,
and I've already been corrected on a lot of this stuff, so.
and some of these things like were directed to the city clerk's office, why is that not HR, or making HR its own department?
Cause I haven't, I'm in the process of doing that, but at the time I'm writing this, that wasn't created yet.
Okay, G3. I don't feel like it needs to be bold and italicized.
Okay,
G4. It just says Ellsworth is committed. Should that be like the city of Ellsworth?
I've already changed most of those to the city.
Okay, was that included in,
Yes.
okay. What I printed off then, goes. Maybe not. Okay, so 2, workers' comp. It says immediately. Can we define what immediately is? Because my definition of immediately maybe would be within 24 hours, but maybe Tyler's is within a week.
Okay.
And then, obtain necessary medical treatment from an authorized healthcare provider. Like, do we have any say? Like, does it need to be like local, approved, in network?
I think in terms of workman's comp, you have to work within their network. So I
Okay.
understand.
Well, you are allowed $500 unauthorized. In state Kansas. So you can go. Where you choose. If you choose to go somewhere that,
That's out of network, that's okay. So
but
should
it's
it,
only up to, I mean, it's only covered up to $500. So if the city works with somebody that they would prefer you go to, you can go there. And then it's covered, but if you go somewhere else that's not authorized, then you are allowed $500, and after that, it's on your.
employer responsibilities, again, it says immediately, so I just wanted to find what that is. So you already.
Thank you for bringing
Yeah.
that to my attention.
And then there's another one that has like, in conclusion, I guess, me personally, I don't feel like that's necessary. I feel like it's just save ourselves the ink and stuff. G5, Capers death and disability benefits. I was just wondering if that could be added to, I think it was G2, where we talk about Capers.
Sure.
So it's all like consolidated. The unemployment compensation part, like it was just a short, like 2 sentences on the old one, but it's like 4 paragraphs on this one. So I'm just kind of curious, like, does it need to be expanded on? And also employees should promptly submit a claim, again, like, should we give a time frame? I'm just saying that some of this could be left up to interpretation, and what I think is prompt is not what you think is prompt, and if we're putting it in black and white, let's make sure there's no room for error.
Okay.
Okay, life insurance. I noticed on the old one that it said the city provides additional life insurance, but this one did not. So does the city not provide any additional life insurance?
It says all employees can purchase additional life insurance through Aflac or Capers.
So we don't provide any, it's if you want to purchase
That is
it, there's, okay. All right, G8. starting on the first day of the month, is that first day of the month of their hire date? Or do they have to be here a certain amount of time?
30 days after 30 days of employment will be the first day of the month.
Okay, and I think it says that, could we spell that out? Did he change that?
It's online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I guess too, I'm just really all about forming. And forming, so like, I didn't like that the healthcare program was just, paragraphs, and over here on something else, it had like 1, 2, 3, 4, so if you could just make it look uniform, that'd make my little OCD part of happy.
For the record, this isn't a final draft. This is just me presenting to you where I'm at. So I can, once I combine it, I will work on formatting.
Okay, G9. So when I think PPE, and I'm probably wrong, but I think of like COVID and I think of nurses. So I was wondering if we could call it issued equipment instead of PPE. It just seems to me less medical, but I don't know what's.
The military uses perfect first PPE.
That's what we use all the time too.
So it's an industry standard, but
Yeah.
I don't care what we call it. If you want to call it issued equipment, I can do that. It's whatever, it's the concept.
OSHA called it PPE, I know that.
Okay, I would say if OSHA calls it that, then
Okay.
let's stick with that. For a layperson, that just sounded very medical to me.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And then I was just curious if each department has its own like handbook. And
No.
if so, is some of this in there? Okay, so we need to make sure that we include it.
Yes.
So then I was curious, like why water, sewer and street is all like spelled out, but not the police department. Like why it's just a list. Also, again, I'm getting hung up on some things. Water, sewer, hoodies, we just provide hoodies for them, like nobody else.
For the record, this is all about the department. That's key.
Okay, and then I was just curious, like, what is cold weather gear and warm weather gear? Like, do we want to,
I would like to spell that a little bit.
Okay. because again, my interpretation could be
Yep.
way different, like, I,
get them clothing. Like in the lounge, they can spend.
We haven't gotten that too. Or the only thing we have is warm weather or the only thing we have is boots allowance.
Okay, so the boots, so you allow them, but if they don't spend that much, do they have to? You just reimburse them for what they spent, or do you give them the whole, like you said, the public works, right? It's up to annual 150 for OSHA compliant, and then the PD is 200. But do you give them that whole 200, or they have to buy and then turn in a receipt for what they spent?
That's kind of an internal discussion. My idea is just to give them the stipend. But that's also why I wanted to talk to you to get some guidance, because there's 2 different schools of thought behind it. One group, because either way, the price of boots is going, our shoes is going up.
right, I was gonna ask.
And
that.
so for me, I would just much rather give it to them and I expect them to have it every day. But there's other people who like the idea of reimbursing, but I don't like right now, so just using one vendor.
Well,
I'd much rather.
so. Are boots for police officers more expensive to me than like OSHA compliant footwear?
To be honest with you, that was the amount that was done previous to me re-update.
I mean, I think we need to look at that, because I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could just do a standard boot stipend,
Sure,
and I don't.
and boots are going up, so 200 might be more realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, I was curious if that was even.
Right, that's what I'm just saying, I mean, like, I'd rather you, if you're gonna give them that they get good shoes, good
Yeah.
boots, then.
And you can just say up to 200 and they give you a receipt for
Yep.
150, that's you pay for their boots.
Yeah,
Up to $200 you can spend. Go over, that's on you, but you get 200.
Yep.
okay, and with the golf course, I got kind of hung up on sunscreen, because if we're going to pay for the golf course people to have sunscreen, I also feel like we should have that for water, sewer, streets, anybody who's working outside, I mean. You should be wearing sunscreen anyway, people.
You get
every
like
day.
a box, where do you get like a box of those little packets, or where do you get it?
We haven't discussed it.
You got like Centos, or who does your, like safety,
No, we don't have that. We don't have
like
that.
first aid kit, you ever first aid kits or anything?
Well, we have to get them out.
But see, they have all that stuff, like they'll bring a box and they'll just have a little pack of sunscreen.
That was something that I thought of, that was something that I thought about doing is looking into like a uniform provider like Cintas or
Yeah.
something, that would save us a lot.
That's mine. Yeah,
And I mean, too, I guess we could really get into the weeds and talk about all the pool staff too.
Yes,
I mean, some birds are gonna hurt.
the thing is, the thing is, yeah.
They
the
won't
thing-
use it, that's true, because I sent it to my child and she doesn't use it.
true. And they don't.
And the thing
It's
is,
gotta
that while we're digging in the weeds, the fact is, this wasn't defined before, so I guess the question is. Do we want to continue, because there is no handbooks for departments, there might be some buried somewhere. And we don't, and we, I keep witnessing people with age-old gear. I keep witnessing people with half clothed. And our equipment does not have a regular maintenance schedule on it unless Troy keeps up on it or individual department heads. So the only way I know to do that is to define it. And this isn't a finished product yet, and I would love to go through line by line with you. I guess maybe as the message that I need to go back to the drawing board before I present it. Because my goal is just to present it so you know what I'm up to and what my ideas are. Because I've been working on this for a year and a half, and equally while I want the staff's buy-in, the staff's also getting frustrated that we're not finishing, so I want to finish it up too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm not saying go back completely to the drawing board, but maybe we need to think with big numbers.
No, I appreciate it, yeah. The staff's been doing a great job of. My all-stars downstairs and the department heads have been doing a really good job of trying to scrutinize what I come up with, and I really appreciate it.
So also under administration, is that just you, Dustin, or would that be, okay? Because I see like ergonomic equipment, like chairs and stuff like that, so I will tell you that I was visiting with Angela today and she had her standing desk up, but she did not have a pad under that, so that would be ergonomic
Yes,
equipment. But then on the next page, it says that they have to wear their PPE. So.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I-
and plus you don't have, the keyboard support right here, so
no,
you're out of compliance.
I am. The goal is to set a goal.
I really like the idea of the standards too, for the people that are at their desk all the time, because. You know how bad it is on your hips, and then when you're standing, like that's bad on your ankles, and so just making sure that we've got all of that.
No, I appreciate you for pointing these out.
And
It will help me get better.
I was also kind of curious about the reimbursement
Sure.
clause. I guess maybe I just misinterpreted it.
Sure.
So. What if they don't really have a final paycheck? And like this,
Yes. Hey, I won't be getting any.
do they keep, like, if they leave with all their PPE or take it somehow, are we just out that? Like, how does all that work? And again, maybe I'm just getting into the weeds.
Well,
a
no,
little
that's
bit, but-
that's an important question, but I don't know. I can't necessarily go to their house and pick it all back up once I give it to you.
Yeah,
But do you do exit interviews with?
Yes,
So
and
then
if they
what
don't
do you-
show up.
Well, right, but I mean, why not make it expected if you do an exit interview, your uniforms are to come back or whatever, your
Yeah.
gear comes back with your exit interview.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, you can't chase them down if they don't, but if you have an exit interview, you're expected to bring back anything that was issued by the city
Yeah.
to the exit interview.
and just so you know, internally, we have a termination checklist where equipment turning keys and all that is spelled out, and I'd expect that to be in every employee file. So there is that process for that is part of it.
What's after a year?
That was my idea. If you feel like it should be more defined, or
6 months.
6 months, okay?
6 months for what?
Like probation, you leave, you gotta get your coats back. But who's gonna wanna use coat anyway, some takes it. Who's gonna bring it to the coat, somebody's worn it for 6 months? Wash it and say, here, this is for the next guy. And don't, here it is. I mean,
Might have
kind
a
of
bump
gotta.
to it.
That's tough.
Yeah.
You know,
All right,
I would.
is everyone else in agreement with 6 months?
Yes.
Okay,
It doesn't really, it's not a big deal, 6 a year. There are not too many people are gonna want safety glasses, maybe some pair of gloves. They're not gonna take the part out now.
Yeah. Some of that stuff's fairly inexpensive too, or not that much. Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, that's everything.
No, I appreciate it. This is a lot of good information. Thank you. It'll just make it better. So thanks. So do you want me to make these changes and bring it back to you next week?
Yeah.
Yep. That'll do. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to discussion decision regarding Kids Ninja Warrior event organized by Pleasant Creek Chiropractic, Dr. Lindsay.
Let me back here, okay.
Just at the podium, so yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I have to apologize to all of you that I did not get here earlier in the year to do this, but we've been a little busy. So I apologize for that in advance, but we are requesting to utilize the park again, the triangle area around Pritzker Park again for our Kids Ninja Warrior, and I guess if you don't approve it, I'm gonna have to figure out how to do it around my office. The park would be much easier. And I need to see if the bathroom situation got a little bit better. I kind of talked to Patrick Hamel just a little bit about it. The key or the locks on the splash pad kept walking. And so he would have to walk over there every single time and let somebody in. And so but that he thought that they were getting better or they were getting something else.
I will have to get back with you on that.
Okay, so that was the only big thing that I can remember last year. That was kind of a pain in the butt.
I know that it's been talked about at staff meetings, so I know they're aware of it, so
Okay.
I will get you a definitive answer.
Okay, and as far as the insurance goes, I got this from Roxy Conley this morning. I got a couple of them, sorry guys. I don't have any issue. But she was buttoning it up today, and then I know she's going on vacation tomorrow, but I know Rick is staying here, so it should be done and paid within a week, so that shouldn't be an issue. The other thing I need to ask is last year we did a general release of liability. I don't know if we need to do that again or I don't know. So this is what we did
So yes. I'm getting
last
nods from
year.
the back, yes.
Okay, no, that's fine. I thought it was just, okay, I brought what we did last year, and so I brought another copy for this year. I'll just give that to you. So the top one is what we did last year, and then I just signed both of those, releasing the city.
Should check her here.
But, and then I just put a blank one on the next page. Good news is I think we have like 61 kids, I think, signed up so far, and
Nice.
this is, I read a whole bunch of them to get that amount. This is usually what happens until like the 2 weeks before, and then you get like 60 of them in a day. So,
You should add like a senior level, so it's on.
actually, so the course, the course is open to adults after all of the kids participate, which our kids were put in the ad today, or in the ad for this week, so we have to ask them to, but I guess that was already on there anyway, but they've done another ad for us this week, and next week that'll go in the paper, so but otherwise we're just using social media to do that and surrounding businesses, so we've changed up obstacles this year, so we put out more wipe out and style or inspired obstacles, so the kids get more wet. Since it's hot. Obviously, we still have a ton of bottled water around for everyone, so that everyone stays hydrated. We still have our lunch, that's within the registration, and then parents, grandparents can buy extra meals if they so choose. So I just need your permission to use the park again.
Where they can close down the splash pad.
Oh, yes, and if we can close down the splash pad until like
3, 4-ish,
At the moment, it's-
because it didn't open by then on the 20th of this month. If we can have that closed until then, just so we can kind of keep kids away from there. I mean, we put caution tape around everywhere that we're going to be, but,
Sometimes
it's
kids
caution
will
tape,
go under it.
go underneath of it. So,
Well, that would help the city also having that close. We need extra supervision there if that was open, so
exactly.
it helped both parties involved, I think.
And that's what you guys have done in the past, which is so nice, other than just the bathrooms. So, and that's kind of what we do is we caution tape with T-posts around the bathrooms and then the rest of it's blocked off. So that's what we try to do and try to keep everybody at least in one spot. So,
Are you gonna have like golf carts or anything down there to shovel
Um,
people back and forth with parking if they can't park close enough, or what's the plan there?
well, we haven't done that, no.
Okay, I just didn't know.
So we don't allow anyone to park inside the park just because there's kids running amok. There's, I think, my car is in there, the fire truck is in there. And then their cars are like outside by the food building, but that was just for eating access. Otherwise, everybody else parks on the streets.
Okay.
It hasn't seemed to be a problem in the past. I don't foresee it to necessarily be a problem now, but was not planning on doing that, no. We will probably have either at least one golf cart or one side by side somewhere to deliver the water bottles, but other than that.
You taking care of the most important thing, in my opinion, is the liability insurance.
Yep.
Because that way you won't be sued, city won't be sued.
Correct.
So,
And we do have all of our kids sign a waiver as well. So we try to be like triple protected. So anytime anybody registers, there's a waiver that parents have to sign, physically sign. So, or guardians, so. But yeah, we try to be protected in all forms. So,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the function for Dr. Lindsay Bowles doing business as Oak Creek Chiropractic, the use of the park from the day from 7 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon.
yeah, usually about 4.
7 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon, and that we do not open the splash pad until after 4.
One second.
All right, it's been moved by Dawn, seconded by Darcy to approve Dr. Lindsay Bolt's use of Christopher Park from 7 AM to 4 PM on Saturday, July 20th for the Kids Ninja Warrior Challenge. Also closing the splash pad until 4 o'clock that day. Was there anything else that you'd ask?
Bathroom walks.
Yeah, take the back.
And take care of the bathrooms.
The only thing I was gonna say is we usually get there about 5:30 in the morning to start setup, and depending upon how many kids, usually we're cleaned up by about 4:30.
So
But
I'll change my motion to 5 AM
Okay.
until 5 PM.
okay, that would be great, thank you.
5 to 5.
Do you approve of that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's been amended by Dawn, seconded by Darcy to let Dr. Volts use the Christopher Park from 5 AM to 5 PM on July 20th for the Kids Ninja Warrior Challenge. She's provided us with the liability insurance and the general release of liability. Any more discussion?
And then the water park won't open
Oh,
until
splash pad won't open until after 4 or 5?
5
5,
o'clock.
After
Keep
5.
confusion down that way.
and we'll have somebody from the city get with you and make sure the bathroom doors are locking and stuff beforehand.
Okay, yeah, just so we don't have to keep on knocking them every 5
Oh,
minutes.
Aaron just volunteered to be the bathroom.
Good job.
You want to start to-
Yeah, have Dawn train.
Well, that would be great.
Hey,
So I will get with Patrick to get this general liability and actually button up everything.
All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion passed.
Okay,
Have
thank
fun.
you.
All right, next up, notice of revenue neutral rate intent. Dustin, so.
I want to make it clear that this is not my proposal for a final neutral rate, or this is not my proposal for a final mill levy. This is just to set the cap. so that I can continue to work with Angela and making cuts. We are currently at 154 mills of everyone's wish list. So that means I'm gonna have to cut, as I told you in my statement here, I will work to reduce it to 90. And I want to make that crystal clear. That is not my final goal. That is just my target, so I can shape it. It's gonna take a lot of work, but I'm working on it. But I need to get this into the county clerk by law, by state law. Just and we've got, and in this notice, we've already got the notice scheduled for September 9th, 2024, 5 p.m. for the hearing. But my recommendation is to at least agree to go over the R&R. Prices are going up, and we've got to continue to maintain. So that is my request. But like I said, my final number is not 100 mills, it's just to set the cap to abide by the law and have full control over what you first mills to be. And like I said, my goal is to get it to 90.
What are we at this year?
It is currently at 74 is what we're rated at, listed at as the R&R. So we can either meet or exceed. You have three choices here. You meet it, and then there won't be any notice requirement and no hearing requirement. You can tell me to go below that. Or you can exceed it. Those are the three choices. I'm recommending exceeding it, but I guess it's your call.
So best scenario, you'd like to have it around 90.
No, 90 is my current goal, but I want to get it much below. I want to get it below.
Okay.
Like I said, this is just, that's a major jump. I would not.
What was the last time they raised the mill levy?
Last year.
And how much was it?
But I had asked to raise it by 9 mils, so I think it was around 81 or 82. I'd have to look too.
Okay.
Yeah, I personally don't think there's any way to not exceed the cost of doing business is so expensive these days, it's just not feasible.
Yeah, there's nothing's went down.
There's a couple of influences here that I need to remind you of. When John Deerdoff first got here in 2022, we were doing a lot of supplementing using the water sewer fund, which means we neglected a lot of things. There's also the influence of just departments doing everything. So like the streets department, for example, it's hard for me to get into weeds and maintain cemeteries at the same time. So over the next 5 years, what I'm really trying to do, can't afford to do everything I want to do this year. I'll be honest. I wanted to create a maintenance department in the rec area. With the current projections, I can't do that. So I guess that dream will be, I'm cutting my own weeds too in this process. I'm very budget conscious, but also that's why I'm following it up with internal process improvement. A lot of everything I do is budget conscious. That's why I want to create these, because these weren't here when I got here. No departments had SOPs. We didn't have SOPs. We didn't have, a hard drive. You have helped me achieve a lot over this year and a half, and while they cost a lot initially, they're saving us productivity. We now have three, like hard drive in IT, for example. I know we're kind of forced into it, but you approved everything along the way. And because of what we've done, now we've got triple layers of protection on everything IT. And what the city clerk's office is doing now is that we're digitizing all our records. Little things like that will improve. Little things like updating our policies will improve. The HR move that I'm trying to do internally, just shifting what she's doing on a daily basis will also help support our staff and reduce the amount of frustration that they have. And that's why I really appreciate you going through that, because that'll only make the policy better. All those, I'm trying to drive down the neutral rate, but I want to do it in a way that's not kicking the can down the road. Like with water, sewer and things like that nature, I'm telling the staff we need to do things the right way and in line with the ordinance. And if the ordinances aren't right, like Mary Schmidt said, we need to change it. So I really appreciate you doing that. I just want you to know everything I'm doing is budget conscious and is trying to drive down the cost to our citizens while also trying to make things at the same time.
So I was thinking last year we kind of had like a budget work day or
Yes.
like a special meeting. Are we doing that?
I would like to
Okay.
invite the council and the staff and all the department heads to have that again.
Well, if we're gonna keep it at 90, do we need to go to 100? We just say 90, that's it.
Well, this thing says 100, right? And they don't care how much we exceeded today, right?
That's
That's
correct.
for our hearing.
That's this is only setting the ceiling.
Yeah. Because I want to make sure that we have enough to do some of that water sewer line repairs.
Well, I just want to be clear, the water sewer fund is funded by your water sewer rates.
But we don't
So
have,
this mill levy is actually the general fund. So
Okay.
that's your streets department, your police department, your
Gotcha.
fire department, and your and administration.
Yeah, I'd like to move to approve the intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate, mill levy rate of 100. With the administration's plan to reduce the rate to 90 if all possible at the time of the public hearing. To be noticed to the Ellsworth County Clerk and to schedule a public hearing on September 9th, 2024 at 5 p.m. at City Hall, 121 West First Street, Ellsworth, Kansas.
I'll second that.
I've got a discussion. So just to be clear, we have a budget hearing and our revenue neutral rate hearing on the 9th. So one will be at like 5, will be at like 5:15.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? All right, it's been moved by Dawn, seconded by Tyler to approve exceeding the revenue neutral rate. Our budget hearing and our revenue neutral rate hearing is scheduled for September 9th. I'm assuming that's Monday, September 9th at
Yes.
5 p.m. here at City Hall. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed.
One thing about the budget thing that I've been watching on Money Market Magazine. We're all worried about what things cost and we're not gonna have the sales tax revenue. It's actually working kind of in reverse of what we would think it is. People spending the same amount of money. So the sales tax revenue surprisingly is staying up there. In other words, this watermelon cost you $5 last year, it's $7 this year. They're buying it, but they're paying the sales tax on the $7 or $8. Or you go buy a new shirt that was 12, but now it's 20, they're paying the sales tax on 20. So you think when the economy is receding, but we're still fortunate enough that the sales tax is bigger on the total sale and not with the valuation changes. So when inflation also absorbs or helps with the sales tax, that's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of a sad deal, but it helps you as a city budget know that your sales tax probably is not going to change that much because the average family is spending the same amount of money. They just don't get as much for them. That makes sense what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So when it comes to budget, sales tax is a big part of it. We have to remember that.
Interesting. So with the sales tax, Angela brought to my attention that our 10-year order sales tax is expiring. And so next meeting, we will be, I asked Mr. Kevin Cowan to work on the paperwork to update it. He did ask me if we wanted to increase sales tax or not. I don't have any documents or budget items prepared to justify that, but I at least told him to keep it the same. Is that where you want me to keep it? I don't have any, I have plenty of projects, but I don't have a specific presentation for that, but because we're a little late getting to it, it needs to be submitted to the county clerk's office by September to give to the voters. But I just didn't know if you had specific guidance for me, or whether you wanted to raise it or keep it the same.
In my opinion, I'd rather keep it the same and change our mill levy and change the sales tax.
Okay.
Because that's gonna affect the families a lot more on the sales tax than on mill levy.
Okay, and just so you know, if we don't if the voters don't approve it, then I would have to do my budget without the assumption that that would be available.
They have to fall back on the mill levy.
Yep,
Okay,
just so you know where I'm at.
okay.
Any other new business? All right, department heads. Interim Chief Weigel, do you have anything for us? We have our.
You had last month's call for service, nothing beyond that, you had close to 200, so about a normal month will as well.
Thanks for you. And Dave, Anything from the water department? No? Okay. City attorney.
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay. And I apologize, last meeting, I didn't take time to introduce Mariana. She was new for that meeting and she is new, so she is deputy clerk. Mariana started June 3rd and her second meeting. So next up, deputy city clerk, got anything for us? No, we have nothing. Good. That's it.
APAC will be starting on the cement work at Fourth Street in Douglas tomorrow. So they are officially getting started. I also wanted to let you know that I am withholding my signature closing out the airport project. The runway in particular, because the Airport Advisory Board, i.e. Dale, has reported to me that we have had 2 sets of lights go out now to circuit boards. So I'll be honest, I'm a little I'm gonna be confronting the manufacturers because they're telling the electrician who came out that they're not willing to honor the warranty, and I don't think that's acceptable. So I will be having a conversation with them. Brand new runway, yes, it took a while to finish, but the fact that we're having failing lights kind of bothers me.
It's pretty important.
And then I got nothing.
All right, city council, Darcy. No. Dawn, I'm sure you have a list. Go for it.
I do have a list. It's brought to my attention and I'm in agreement with it. And this goes with Police Chief Active Whitehall. If I understand correctly, Highway 14 there comes through Main Street. We do have a truck route noted at the north end and the south end, right?
Yeah, the south end will be out in the county, but it is.
That's right.
Marked as a track route.
Okay, I think we probably need to really start enforcing that, especially with the fact that we're gonna spend the money and I'll do all the updates downtown with new pavement and everything and all the work downtown and safety for the people downtown. I understand there's a lot of semis running the red lights and they're just driving through town fast with no delivery in the city limits, so they don't have to go out around 156. That defeats the purpose of the truck route. So I'd like to see our police department enforce that truck route for the safety of the people in the town and for the maintenance of our highway streets.
Cause I will say, sitting on Main Street, there's a lot of semis that come through it. They're coming through faster than 20 miles an hour.
Bull haulers too.
Yeah.
Come down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why we got a bull hauler coming down Main Street,
It shouldn't be.
unless they go to Milwaukee Way, and that's an exception.
That is, that's legal.
So anyway, Mr. Weigel, can you check that out for us?
I'm checking with the attorney on possible enforcement right now. I know the counties need fast resolutions to actually make those enforceable every year. I'm looking to see if the municipality has to do some things.
Can we add it? I don't know if we can add a sign to KDOT sign that says strictly enforced or not.
But the county doesn't enforce it either, because there's a sign that says. No. Without a county destination between on Highway 40. And there's tons of semis that are on Highway 40 all the time, and I'm pretty sure are not in county destination.
Okay, so anyway, we can work on that a little bit. And then, I was asked about the status of the mobile home up by the 327 school district that's been vacated. All the windows are knocked out of it, it's starting to deteriorate, and fall in. Have we started proceeding orders on that?
By the district office.
Yeah, have we started any,
I will have to get it back with you, Mr. John, I'll get you an answer.
that's one thing I think we need to work on. It's getting bad. You know, there's gonna be farmers in and out around that thing terribly.
We did just get done with the stuff, so we're in the process of that.
Okay.
I'll check on that.
Okay, and then the other thing is, have we had any response back from on the water tower lights? Where we at on those?
The water tower lights are one, it's one of those where they keep sending us new lights and they keep getting blown out by the current circuit. So Patrick has to focus on the golf course too. But after I talked to him on Tuesday, because they're all stacked up in the corner of his office, all the new lights, I think he has a timeline, but he also thinks that we'd have to.
Well, at least we're working on it.
Yes, we are,
Okay,
but
that's-
the end result, based on what he told me, was that we might have to spend some to make it work. And he's kind of nervous. He wants to have another conversation with us with it.
Yeah, how much we thought,
Right.
I don't
Why are you
know.
talking electrician? probably?
Yes. Yes.
And surprising, that's all I have.
Well done, Don. Gold star. All right, Aaron,
I'm good. Talk about you.
I'm not gonna talk about it.
She is gonna talk about dog food.
What about trash?
I can, but Patrick sent me a link for a vest that says poof 911, so I'll be wearing that up there.
says that's your official equipment.
Oh,
You gotta turn
could
it
we
in when
put
you
that in
leave
the
though.
thing,
Yeah.
city council PPE?
Only when you get there.
Yeah, when
That
you-
could be front page news.
When you leave, you gotta turn it back in.
Oh. Okay, so I had somebody ask, I try to figure out how to say this kindly. Why we're citing for grass, is that all we have, and are we just picking and choosing, or is everyone on a block with similar height grass kind of getting the same notice? It's just one of those things, they probably just got them on kind of a day.
Well,
thing
I
on
do-
this front.
I do have one person, so we try to be equitable, but a lot of times it's driven by complaints.
Gotcha. I got a question a few weeks ago in the grocery store, and I forgot to bring this up, and I probably should have just texted Patrick. But they asked me, why does our city council have a president and a mayor? She said most places she lived in have only had one or the other.
Yeah, there are several different, there are different forms of municipal government in Kansas. And ours is class 3, and it's a mayor council form that has 5 members and a president of council.
So we didn't just make something up.
No, we're not looking at, like, when I go over the Lions, they have 8 council members and by district. And so like, and they vote, so they get voted on by, at part of town, not the town as a whole. So I guess there's several different flavors, and that's just the one that we use,
Class 3, that's what you said.
class 3, yeah.
Okay. Then the new walking path that we have, is there any chance we could get a railing put up by the creek, like kind of on the side of the
Yes.
creek and by the street, just so kind of keep people from falling in if they're riding a bike or walking and things like that?
We already have them designed. I'm waiting to close out the project officially with KDOT.
Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, that was it for now.
What was your answer on that?
I said, wait, right now, I am waiting to close it out with KDOT.
KDOT has to decide whether we get railing or not.
I just wanted to close out the project with them before we work on the railing. Because if I do any work to it prior to me closing out on that, then I'll have to spend a necessary.
So we'll never get it done.
Yes, we will. It's already designed, we've already got it ready, we just need to get it going.
All right, Tyler.
The Dawn kind of made me think of this, when I was up at the fireworks stand there at the Legion. I don't know how many semis come by and they were jaking as they were coming by, that's not legal, is it?
No.
In town?
No Jake break.
It was all the time here. I just never really paid attention until we were sitting up there, that long, but they were jake breaking all the time.
I'll make it $1,000 fine, let's make some revenue.
Yeah.
Tyler, I have something to add to that. I would like if there is any way that they can enforce those jake breaks, because they start at the top of the hill east of my house and go all the way into town.
Yeah,
And you hear that all during the night.
I bet, yeah.
They're speeding. I mean, as long as when we've seen Officer Brown sitting there the other day, he pulled somebody over right past on the west side of the bridge. And I'm not joking. I seen semis, cars and everything going like 35, 45 mile an hour, like they're supposed to. But as soon as he leaves, they're back up to their 50, 60, 70 mile, and they're passing as they're going east before they ever get to the bridge. There's cars that are passing semis, and it might be 2 or 3 other cars. I'm surprised there hasn't been an accident with cars coming from the east down the hill.
Yeah, I would just, I don't hang out up there unless we're going by, and
But
it's
they
like
are-
all constant, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
okay. This is wild. Nobody got pulled over. I guess I didn't know if it was illegal. I figured it was.
Actually, I have something on Justice, on the mayor, council, or president. Why do we have a 4-year mayor and council term? Most cities have 2 mayor and 2.
Sorry, this is the first time of the question.
So, like, the state statute says, Patrick, like, it's mayors 2 and a lot of, like, council is 2.
2-year term, you mean?
So why is Ellsworth 4? Is that something we changed, or?
I think that I don't know the answer if we chartered out at this point.
Okay.
I just,
I was just curious, somebody asked me that.
Again, when there was a point where the legislature moved a lot of cities our size to a class 2 unless you opted out of it, and Ellsworth opted back to be a class 3, which is important use to kind of buy a lot smaller cities.
Okay,
But yeah, that's all I know.
okay, I was just curious, thank you.
Oh, and Dustin, I forgot, I had, like, clearly have a little too much time on my hands. So I was looking at code of ordinances.
Sure.
And I was looking at the quorum. For, it's like 2.04.070. It says, like directed to the city marshal. Should that be city administrator?
Or chief, city marshal is chief,
Okay. And
but
then,
you can change it if you want it to.
I don't care, I just wasn't quite sure what marshal meant. And then president of council election duties, could we please get that changed for the month of January?
We already did that, it just, I don't
Just
think
not
the
good.
ordinance has been, I don't think they've. We have to update the ordinance to, meeting code,
Okay, perfect, I thought we talked about it, so.
yes.
Okay, Dan, are you in a place where you can talk? Do you have comments? for us
Absolutely.
tonight?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, first of all, thanks to the interim police chief and Dustin, the bike ride across Kansas as the cyclists were setting up at the rec center, man, people were abusing the speed limit big time. And as soon as Officer Weigel showed up and kind of set up a nice little speed trap, it made all those cyclists 100 times safer. So I want to thank him for that, and to Dustin. Just a reminder, we have that project at the rec center too. We want to kind of create a better access for handicapped folks. Alan Byerly brought it up to me, then I think Mary brought it up again, and then thankfully Don kind of reminded us the last meeting. My thoughts were just copy what we did at the library. I mean, that was several meetings just to decide that. They took part of that gravel parking lot and made 2 really nice concrete, handicap spots. And if they could have a smooth access with a wheelchair, that'd probably do it. I don't know, Dustin, I'm not an expert in that area, but that's something else to kind of keep in mind. Cowtown, of course, is coming up. The meeting is Wednesday. If anybody wants to have any input at all into this year's event, that would be the meeting to attend. Hopefully everybody will attend the event and have a good time and join the committee either before or after. If they want to join after, that's fine too. They'll have a lot of input into the 2025 event. So, things such as the parade and where do you want vendors and all that kind of thing. I did get a little more clarification into the barbecue vendor thing. I didn't really understand it when Don mentioned it, I think two meetings ago, but they kind of cleared it up. So I don't know that they've resolved it, but they're trying to work through that. So just the fun of being a small town and trying to have a nice festival. So I think those are the only things that I have. Of course, we got executive sessions coming up, and we'll mention a couple of things there. Oh yeah, one more thing. Dustin, help me out with a name here. Joanne. What was her last name with the water?
Cordell, yes.
Okay, yeah. So she came up with a lot of data. I invited her to speak during public comments to kind of give her philosophy on, she didn't want the golf course restricted, or she did want it restricted and the splash pad restricted. And we had a couple discussions, and I just said, hey, present your views tonight during public comments. So you might see her the next meeting. As we all know, we voted in the direction that we did, and we may have to take another step towards more restrictions. And that's basically what I told her. I said, this is probably just a temporary step. But I think that's all I've got for now. How's that sound?
That's great. Thank you, Dan.
All right.
Okay, well, we do have 2 executive sessions on our agenda, so I'm going to entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Oh, sorry, no.
I'll second.
No.
Are we gonna do a separate, Jeff? Okay, go into executive session, for consultation with attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship to include city council, city administrator, city attorneys.
Or how long?
Or how long do you need?
15 minutes.
So until 6:55.
I'll say that, yeah, like. A little something from the mail.
Yeah, attorney-client privilege.
Yeah, that'll go the same thing extra.
This would do that, Taylor, see, that's probably anything.
Yeah.
Second. What do you want?
Well, Darcy's made a motion to go into executive session to include the governing body, city administrator, city attorney. Tyler seconded it, will come out at 6:55 p.m. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
And a reminder,
Do you need to move those two people back into the meeting?
She knows what she's doing. All right, we're gonna step back.
Okay, Alan, no action was taken in any of those executive sessions.
Council President, I would make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, Darcy's moved and Tyler has seconded to adjourn tonight's meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed, meeting closed. Yay!